What's a funeral? It's about an hour. Tends to be in the morning. The rest of the day is your own. I don't want you to judge me, ladies and gentlemen, but when my nana died, we went bowling. You know, life goes on. Not hers, obviously. She was in a box, on fire. I was on fire. 3 strikes.
My mom died, by the way. I think I should point that out. And I want to give you guys some modern death advice. This is very important, okay? Because some of you guys are going to deal with this. Number one thing you need to know, get the f***ing passwords. This is the most important thing you need to know about modern death, because everything's on their phone and on their computers, and if you don't get those passwords and they die, you have no idea the heartache you will deal with, right? Calls to banks, lines at banks, emails, bureaucracy, torturous admin trying to get your parents' money. So please, get the f***ing passwords. Because it takes a cold-hearted son to hold their mother's iPhone in front of her recently dead head. But you have to do what you have to do.
I did just have a very morbid conversation recently based on a name mix-up. A little while ago, my childhood cat, Callie, died, and I texted my friend Jenna the news of Callie's death. But what I didn't realize was that autocorrect changed the name Callie into Kelly, which is the name of our best friend. Yeah. Since I didn't realize the name had changed, this is the text conversation we had. True story. Hey, Jenna, I've got some sad news. Kelly's dead. What? What happened? She got hit by a car. Oh my God! Did you call an ambulance? I already buried her. You buried her? Where? In my backyard. Wow, Kels. I don't know if that was the right thing to do. Well, I was really upset, and I haven't even told you the worst part yet. She was pregnant. What? How do you know this? Because her nipples were huge. At that point, Jenna called, finally. Kind of a long time to stay in text with that information, Jenna. And we figured it out, but the best part of all of that was showing the conversation to Kelly the next day. How often do you get to see your friend's reaction to your supposed death? That's how you find out who your real friends are. Kelly wasn't too happy. She looked at Jenna and was like, wow, Jen, it's a little concerning to know that when you hear I've been buried in a yard, your only reaction was just, wow, Kels, I don't know if that was the right thing to do. Thanks for calling the cops.
You think Jesus ever trying to talk God out of some of that stuff? You know, like, hey, Dad, you know that whole crucifixion thing? Yes, you're dying on the cross for all mankind's sins. Yeah, hear me out. What if instead of that, we did a big fundraiser? No, now get cracking on your miracles. Easter, that's a weird tradition. Easter, the day Jesus rose from the dead, what should we do? How about eggs? Oh, well, what does that have to do with Jesus? All right, we'll hide them. I don't follow your logic. Don't worry, there's a bunny. Ridiculous.
And since living alone, I've developed this huge fear of like choking in my apartment. Like, I don't want to be eating a sweet potato and have like my final thought be, it's not so sweet anymore. So what I've been doing is I've been watching like a lot of YouTube tutorials that teach you how to give yourself the Heimlich. And they're like far too long for life-saving content. Like the girl in the video is just like, hey, are you choking? Because if you are, time is crucial. Let me hear you say crucial. I said let me hear you say crucial. Give me a C. And then it cuts to an ad that's like, it's never the wrong time to think about visiting Iowa.
If you're a believer in Jesus, man, death should be a party. Death, where is that sting? I ain't afraid of death, bring it. Not right now, but you know. That's right, man. You're gonna wanna come to my funeral. I'm gonna put the fun in funeral. It's gonna be hard to be sad. I got a big bowl of candy on my chest. That's gonna help some people, man. People walking by my casket, I can't believe you're gone. I can't believe, Smarties. Oh my God. I love Smarties. Somebody takes 2 pieces, I grab their arm. Come on. Coming to my funeral, man, there's gonna be dancing, man. I'm gonna have music and a DJ. Just throw your hands in the air and wave them like it ain't in there. Oh, come to my funeral, man. It's gonna be great. There's gonna be a mosh pit, man. And don't just let me lay there. Get me involved. Pick me up, let me crowd surf. Just... You're like, man, you go to Hawkins' funeral? Yeah, it was awesome!
Was it not so weird the way all the companies responded after the Queen died, like just desperate to cash in? I log on to the Sainsbury's website. Everyone at Sainsbury's is deeply saddened by the passing of Queen Elizabeth II. Now 2 for 1 on rice puddings. I drove past a logistics lorry on the motorway the other day. I had a big picture of the Queen on the back of the lorry, said, "Thank you for your service, Mom." Like she was one of their drivers. John Lewis were grief matching. They said if you see a sadder statement from another company, we'll match their sadness.
When I was a kid, my friends and I got arrested for vandalizing a graveyard. $10,000 in damages. But we had a great lawyer who knocked it down to criminal trespassing and necrophilia. I make a lot of jokes about death because it's hilarious. My whole family's like that, kind of, you know. In fact, well before I was even born, my great-grandmother threw herself in front of a bus. Police tried to say she was committing suicide, but the family knew that she was just trying to stop civil rights. Yesterday, I accidentally hit a little kid with my car. It wasn't serious. Nobody saw me. And people get weird when kids die. No, that's a fact. That's a fact. Like about a month ago, some kids in my neighborhood were playing hide and go seek, and one of them ended up in an abandoned refrigerator. It's all anybody talked about for weeks. I said, who cares? How many kids you know get to die a winner. I assume you guys all knew who you were coming to see tonight. But if you didn't, you sure know now.
Some of the hardest things, some of the most difficult things you encounter in life can be dealt with humor. For example, last April 7th, my mom died. Taken from us. Just hit me fast. 6 weeks, diagnosed with cancer, 6 weeks later, dead. The greatest lady I've ever known, taken away. What do? My job is to get up and be funny. I didn't feel like being funny. How do I deal with that? I had to go out and work. How do I go out and work? My mom died. We're Irish. We had a memorial service. We're non-denominational. We don't have a religion. My dad professed that love is the religion. You love everybody you meet. With that, you can't have war. You can't have hurt. So we told stories at this memorial service. We laughed, we cried, we laughed, we cried. Then we went to my dad's place, my mom's place, and we had a big party. With food, with a band, and booze. Because we're Irish. We're Irish and American Indian, so it was double booze. Irish and American Indian, so you know I had VIP seats waiting for me at any AA meeting, quite frankly. I walk into that meeting, it's like, hey, look, Running Bear O'Reilly. We have a chair for you in the front row. Well, we had a party to celebrate the life of the person we were so blessed to have in our lives. And we drank, and we talked, and we laughed, and then the question gets asked. Have you been to these funeral events? The question, somebody will inevitably come up to you and say, what do you want him to say about you at your funeral? And somebody came up to me, one of the sons, and said, what do you want him to say about you at your funeral? Pass me the bottle of Jack. Drank a little sip there, and I went, what do I want him to say about me at my funeral? I want him to say, hey, look, he's moving.
One of my favorite ones I heard was here in New York. I had seen a big fight on the street. One guy was all beat up, laying on the ground. The other guy was gone. There's an old woman standing over the guy in a panic, saying the exact same thing over and over and over. He beat him half to death. He beat him half to death. Over and over, half to death. And after a while, all I could hear was half to death. And then just half. Half, repeating in my head. Until I started thinking, half? How could she possibly know that? So I interrupted her. I said, excuse me, but there is no way that you could know that this man has been beaten half to death. The only way that we could know that for sure is if we were to beat him again exactly the same way, and he were to die right at the end. And she agreed. So we beat the crap out of him. Me and the old lady recreating the first beating as best we could. Sure enough, right at the end, he died. That's when the police arrived. And they said, what has happened here? This man is exactly dead. And we said, he's been beaten half to death. Twice.